This is all very wonderful, I'm sure, but I was rather hoping to learn more about your nourishment facilities. In other words, where's the food? I believe both the knowledge and consumables you seek may be found at Mariel Ergonomics. As I imagine Singing Way and the others intend to study every conceivable facet of his apparatus, would thou be so kind as to escort a visiting culinarian? Yes, that sounds much more interesting. Hopefully I'll be able to see firsthand some of the delicacies Orienter was telling me about. Even his incredibly vivid, if a bit too verbose, descriptions cannot compare to sampling them myself. Not to mention Aetherius will soon be no more, so I must learn all I can while there is still time. This is the place, yes? The heady aroma was enough to guide me here, and I've spotted several different vegetables featured in our compendium. I'd dearly love to try some, but I read that those who help themselves to a farmer's crops without permission are often caught and put into pies. Huh? Perhaps you could ask whoever's in charge if they'd be willing to part with a few samples? Let's go! Cooking Way is accompanying me! Let's go! Alright, where are we going? Where are we going? Where are we going? Oh, it's you, the one who climbed down the mine shaft. I'd show you around if I could, but I'm rushed off my feet preparing for the exodus, and I'm not the only one. We've got to find ways to do what we do down here up there. First on the moon, then on whichever star the form signs will become our new home. It's all so sudden, so unreal. Do you want to go to the moon? Well, it's better than waiting for the final days to claim us, but no matter how carefully it's all planned, we'll never be able to take every variety of flora and fauna with us. Even the ones we can take may not survive in their new environment. So many species, doomed to extinction. Sorry, that's not what you came to talk about, is it? Nothing quite so dire, I assure you. We merely want to sample a little of your produce, if we may. By all means, help yourselves. Much appreciated, my good fellow. Or even... Cooking Way is literally down here. Oh, I know what these are. Grapes, yes? Let's see if they're as delicious as they look. So sweet, so sour. The taste is much like a ripe philosopher's carrot, and yet the texture is entirely different. The contrast between the outer skin and the fruit within is most peculiar, though far from unpleasant. Yes, I think I'll try another. Well, that certainly gives me food for thought, though in a far less visceral manner than any philosopher's carrot. But tell me, what is your opinion of grapes? I love them! I'd brave an erupting volcano for a choice bunch. Yes, they are rather Moorish, aren't they? And from what I've read, quite versatile, too. Something about people stepping on them to make intoxicating beverages, as I recall. Anyway, that's enough about grapes for the time being. On to the next treat. Orange by name, orange by nature. What came first, the fruit or the color? Who cares? Let's eat. Yes, that's equal parts sweet and sour as if the grapes, yet nothing alike. I may have to consult with Andrew about expanding my vocabulary. I simply cannot find the words to describe it. Perhaps what I'm looking for is bitter. This is all very complicated, you know. So many flavors, so many choices, and each individual with their own personal preferences. Now I see why you all turn your noses up at the idea of eating nothing but carrots. Marvelous though they are still marvelous though they still are in my estimation. Let no one say I said otherwise. Ah, but speaking of carrots, I've yet to sample any vegetables. Let's see what is in the field over there. That color, that texture, are they some sort of enormous round carrots? No? In any case, proper nomenclature is less of a concern than taste. Ugh, it's so hard and flavorless, I might as well be chewing on a piece of wood. That all but confirms it. These are nothing more than misbegotten failures masquerading as godly carrots. Or goodly carrots, oops. Stop, stop, stop! Can't you see these are pumpkins? And no one with any sense would try eating them raw. You're supposed to cook them first. Do you not find it an awful bother? Far from it. Cooking is a joy unto itself, and what's more, it broadens the range of ingredients that we may safely eat. But above all else, cooking allows us to draw out the full potential of our produce. Pumpkin stew has been one of my favorite dishes for as long as I can remember. Then perhaps even these hard blocks of plant matter can become as delicious as the orange I sampled. Paper search for her. She's one of nope. I wonder though, is there anything even more delicious? How about that yellow fruit over yonder? What a wondrous fragrance! With luck, it'll have flavor to match. As I've no idea how these are eaten, I'll just bite into it. My tongue, is this poison? A lemon? You mean it's supposed to taste like this? How could something so similar to an orange be so revolting? Ugh, and maybe sometime for my palate recovers from this ordeal. As such, I had best call an end to this round of sampling. Let's say our farewells and return to the others. Is this poison? Finished, have you? I trust you found something to your liking. I'm rather enamored by the grapes and oranges. Less so the pumpkin, though I learned the hard way that they're not to be eaten raw. Then there was the lemon. The deceiver. I still feel so violated. First time, was it? I'd hate for you to leave with a bad taste in your mouth in more ways than one, so I'll give you this lemon muffin I baked. If this doesn't change your opinion, nothing will. More lemon? Have I not suffered enough? Nevertheless, it would be remiss of me to spurn this opportunity to... bit of a sick came up there. Just like throwing up. Learn more of your inscrutable ways. Very well, lemon muffin. Do your worst. This is delicious. Although I still detect a hint of lemon, it complements the sweetness of the dough to create a perfect harmony. I never would have guessed its vile bitterness could be utilized so elegantly. My good chap, this is simply breathtaking. See, we rarely use lemon in its natural state, but it has a starring role in all sorts of recipes, and the same is true for many other ingredients. It comes down to making the most of the resources at our disposal, and sometimes that can even be the difference between life and death. I know we won't be able to take every species with us. No doubt the former apologized over what was worth preserving, agonized over what was worth preserving, and what will be consigned to history. Our choices, but make them we must if we're to survive. Such strength of will. Now I know what Heidelin sees in your kind. Mankind, the Lubrits, we are both born from the accumulated knowledge of the ancients. They learned all there is to learn about the nature of sentient life and the fates of the stars themselves. Once a civilization has fulfilled the basic requirements for survival, it will inevitably seek to eliminate all forms of negativity and achieve perfection. And therein lies its folly, and its downfall. For perfection is an unattainable ideal. 'Tis the paradox of the immaculate carrot. Yet civilizations since time immemorial have deemed the pursuit of perfection as progress. They pay no heed to the costs incurred in their futile quest, and all too often become the architects of their own demise, their dreams forever unfulfilled. What, then, is the alternative? The answer lies in knowing that our existence can never be perfect, to be content with what we have and make the most of it. When life gives you lemons, make lemon muffins. Pardon my Eorzean, but what in the 7 hells are you on about? And who are you anyway? Cooking Way, at your service. I'm here to help prepare for the trip to the moon. And once you get there, you'll be able to try my carrots. I've been growing all different kinds. But don't worry, there'll be room for your crops too. We'll work together to preserve as many of Aetherius species as possible. If you're up to the challenge. Yes, of course. I look forward to it. Well, this has all been highly productive. Probably. Let's go and see if Odianger and the others have run out of machinery to inspect, shall we? That was most enlightening, especially the part with the lemon muffin. Actually, I was wondering, do you know of any other places famed for their cuisine? The Far East has oodles of noodles. Not that I had time to visit. The more I learn of Etheros, the more I wish I could spare it from the final days. Alas, Heidelin's orders are to flee, not to resist. If only there was some other way.
About that. We're working on it.
I'm muting the background music just in case this starts a cutscene. Because once you go in a cutscene, you can't unmute the background music, which is really stupid. Clarissa, I trust thy time at Merrill Ergonomics did bear fruit. Ariander, if you weren't so goddamn cute, I'd beat the shit out of you.
Our own efforts, too, were rewarded. We now possess an embarrassment of educational riches. No doubt our guests' relentless pursuit of knowledge could occupy them, and us, for a fortnight. The last time is of the essence. Let us return to Charlie and Hamlet forthwith. I shall gladly attend to each and every lopperette there should further questions within my power to answer arise.
Aww. I'm just gonna teleport. Is it gone? Yes, Clarissa, that was indeed me verbalizing a sigh to express my emotional state. Do you want to know why? Because I saw the reconstructed environmental data for Atheris at Logisticon Alpha, that's why. A forest so lovely and so leafy. Are all your forests like that? Usually the forest, the first one was purple. Yeah, I'm saying that. Gasp! Gasp, I say! With a star so wonderful, it comes as no surprise that you're reluctant to leave it behind. I was a fool to think otherwise, to assume that the moon was something worth being proud of. How ridiculous we must seem to you, trying so hard, yet achieving so little. Wow.
Not at all. Thy works are no less worthy for their uniqueness. I thought I heard tiny voices.
Oh, him.
They're good.
I thought it was gonna be your Stola.
How didst thou fare? Oh, I was able to glean a fair bit from the researchers while helping to move their cargo. Preparations have proceeded without interruption here, despite news of the coming end. We have the forum's leadership to thank for that. That doesn't mean people aren't worried, though. Quite the opposite. Knowing disaster could strike at any moment, they hurry to complete their work, equally aware that a single error could be the difference between life and death. And we can hardly tell them there's no cause for concern. Perhaps not, though aided by our goodly growing way, we may yet find other ways to lighten their burden.
Me? Be of use to people? I'm honored that you would think me so capable, but I'm not sure that I'm up to the challenge.
Nevertheless, I believe in thee.
If you say so, I suppose it can't hurt to try. They're so cute!
I passed someone moping in the western plaza that looked to be in need of a helping paw. Perhaps you might start with him.
A helping paw?
'Tis a good place as any. Come.
You know. Oh, speaking of designated cutscene music. Sorry! Sorry, Mr. Troubled Researcher. Forever.
Oh, can I help you? It is you who would help me. Is my anxiety truly so obvious? A burden shared is a burden eased. Pray, tell us of thy troubles.
Those little fellows do look like good listeners. I'm an engineer, you see, and what they say of the ship, that it's the sum of decades of Charlian ingenuity, that it's built with peerless, elegant technology, is all true, but I know that none of it's a guarantee. We've never before launched a starfaring vessel, let alone flown it in the great expanse. All the tests we've run have been on the ground. Only operational personnel and cargo will be aboard for the first voyage, but even so, if it fails us then, what can we do? And if it doesn't, it could fall apart on the next flight, or the one after that. We've done everything we can to prevent that from happening, but it hardly matters. We thought the ether burner's design was flawless too, and look how that turned out. We're working on it,
Thou art familiar with these most daunting technologies, and thus dost thou hold the power to allay his fears.
Oh, I'm not sure about that, but, well... Maybe you could tell me if there are any aspects of the ship's design that you're especially worried about?
Our ability to walk about and perform tasks, for one. I've devised a means by which to employ gravity, a spatio-temporal spell, to regulate the environment, but what if it's not strong enough? What if everyone floats away and begins crashing into things as soon as we left the star?
Ah, gravitation. Maybe I can be of help after all. Up there is not so different from down here, you see. The same rules apply as if you consider them a part of one great big cosmos rather than separate places.
I suspect both parties shall find comfort in this conversation. Yet if Thancred's tale be true, still others would benefit from insights born of experience. Might it prevail upon the Loporits to attend them?
Oh, were you saying this one because of the soundtrack that's playing? An excellent idea, if I do say so myself. There's not we'd like more than to ease the hearts of the fine people of Ethers and learn more about them while we're at it.
Full glad am I to hear it. Gather thy companions and bring them thither.
Oh, that's the quest? Oh.
Thou hast to give for finding souls in need of succor. Pray seek thee out the distressed and the apprehensive, and inform them that help is at hand. I shall await them here, that I might introduce each to a suitable Loporit.
Okay. Makasete. Oh, I do so look forward to that. A place for every Loporit and every Loporit in their place. Okay.
Despondent engineer. Just leave me to my misery. The form can appoint someone else. I apologize. I simply don't know what to do. How am I supposed to pilot the Ark if I'm already falling apart under the pressure?
Just do it!
You know a starship pilot that I might speak with? Truly.
Yeah.
Well then, there's no time to waste. They can help me prepare for this monumental task.
Yeah.
Is anything bothering me? Well, I've been loading cargo for bells now, so my back feels like a void sense plated as a piano. My feet and knees as drums and cymbals, too.
Calm, researcher. Worries. No, I believe I'm fine. Thank you. I've been combining in my... 56 bunches of weeds in the ground. Wait, 56 bunches of weeds in the ground. 56 bunches of weeds. Rip one out, add them to the mound. 55 bunches of weeds in the... I'm not neglecting my duties, I swear. I was in need of a little break, you see, but then I found myself unable to relax at all, so I went on a walk, and then I noticed these weeds, and... pleasant conversation partners, and oh so fuzzy. Goodness me, that does sound like a much better way to relax. I'm waiting delivery, whatever. Have you heard anything of what's on the moon? I've no doubt that we can make it up there, but the searching for a new star part of the plan sounds awfully vague to me. I asked the forum, but they will only tell us that our collaborators have everything under control. Forgive me, but I don't feel particularly safe wandering through the sea of stars on gods know what, made by gods know who. Made by Heidelin. Repeat after me. Heidelin. You mean to say that I can speak with them directly? Amazing! I hope they like questions. Yeah. ... Ponderous mathematician. Consult our collaborators. I suppose that would be more effective than sitting here brooding. I'm attempting to calculate how much cargo we could consolidate in a few trips should the ether burner make our original estimates unfeasible. There's simply too many variables. I feel as though my brow will turn inside out, but perhaps our lunar associates will have more insight into how much weight constitutes too much weight for our purposes. Thank you for letting me know. Yeah, no problem. I'm just jamming though. You're driving on the bike. How can I help you? What a lovely idea. I do notice people becoming rather tense. I rushed out to pluck some fresh fragrant tea leaves. This woman is doing better than you are! Grimacing naturalist. My face? What's wrong with my... Oh, perhaps I am a bit tense. I was tasked with ensuring that the proper fauna, and only the proper fauna, are above those of the moon. However, the suitability of a few species is still under debate, and I can hardly make a decision myself when I know so little about the environment up there. Including the leopards in our discussion is a wonderful idea. I absolutely will, thank you. Perhaps their biology itself might offer some clue as well. You idiot! Have you seen an envelope lying about? No, I'm not your mother. F*** off, bald bitch. This imbecile refuses to give me the alchemic I ordered without the bloody slip of parchment. Oh, I think I know where it might be. Up your ass! Dirty old bald bitch. Unless your friends had a spell to make me remember where I dropped my damn envelope. The end of the world is nigh, yet the work goes no faster.
I've never felt so alive. This one is beyond your help. Hyperventilating? Yeah, he needs help. Am I dying? Is this what dying feels like?
No.
No cause for concern, even though we may need to depart at any moment, and if the hull I designed buckles under the strain, the entire vessel may explode on launch, claiming countless lives and dooming all mankind. That is highly unlikely. This is what I want. Oh, there's one standing right here. Only that building was go-inable. Notices on the ship, I designed them with the other safety. How did I miss this guy? I have not the time for idle chit-chat. What about chit-chat with bunnies? Behold, Clarissa, through thine efforts word has spread throughout Labyrinthos, verily to a far greater number than we anticipated. Living Way doth gather more Loporrits as we speak. I shall assign each in accordance with their skills, that new bounds of friendship might be made, new bonds. Should greater matters require not thine attentions, watch over them, I prithee. I guess they kind of were, but that also felt like, I mean, one, you're being introduced to them, and it also felt like, a moment that was supposed to be more relaxing or like happy after everything that just happened. Do you know what I mean? Sort of more like a calm down, a breather. Yeah, that's what I'm looking for, a breather. Also, I'm very glad I turned my music off.
Yo, 盛況だな。
So yeah, I didn't mind that. It felt nice, honestly, after everything that happened.
そういうことでしたら、こちらのスリーピングウェイと話してみるのがよろしいか。彼は月の操縦士ですので。
He's our pilot?
よく覚えてるもんだな。レポリットの違いを見分けるのは難しいと思うんだが。
あなた方を嘆きの海から送り出した後、私たちとウリエンジェはたくさん話をしましたから。彼はアーテリスについていろいろと教えてくれましたし、こちらの質問にもとことん付き合ってくれましたわ。おかげで私の本ももういっぱい。こうして実際に来てみるとまだ驚くことばかりですが、そもそも彼から教えられなければ地上に降りてくることもなく、月で待ち続けていたでしょう。
こんな光景、昔のウリエンジェを知るやつが見たら驚いて喜んだだろうな。ルイゾワ様やミンフィリア、パパリも、それから。
いや、ここでいい相談役を紹介してもらえると聞いたんだ。私たちにも頼めるかな。
Just real quick tangent, by the way, I have seen so many people throughout my time playing and streaming Final Fantasy saying that Minfilia doesn't do anything and that she's useless when she literally gave her life to save an entire world. Did she really? Yes, she did. She's dead because of it. She's not. She was literally never useless.
Wilfson-san, Brovida-san.
He literally just said their names, and the caption was, "Yes, I am."
転移魔法の研究者として有名な夫妻だよ。ムーンブリダの ご両親だ。お久しぶりです。お二人ともこちらにいらしたのですか？
ああ、しばらく前に妻ともども引き抜かれてね。しかしまさかここで君と再会することになるとは。
まったくだよ。あんたと来たらうちの子の訃報に手紙を添えてきたきり、何の連絡もよこしやしない。本当に心配かけて
申し訳ございません。直接ご報告に伺うべきだと分かっていながら、何よりムーンブリダのことを私は。
ルイゾワ様に置いていかれたと嘆いていた彼女にとって、君たち暁が呼んでくれたことがどれほどの喜びだったか。あの子の成したこと、全ての決断は間違いなくあの子自身のものだったと思う。どうか君も己を責めるのではなく、彼女を誇ってやってはくれないか。
私たちに起こってることがあるとすれば、それはあんたと一緒に泣けなかったことだよ。あんな震えたちの手紙だけよこして、私たちであんたの分まで泣く羽目になったじゃないか。
本当に申し訳がございません。私は語れる言葉を持たなかった。込み上げる気持ちもよぎる思い出も一つとして正しく言葉にできなかったのです。積み上げてきた知識も読み解いてきた詩も無力でした。私はただ無力で。
バカだね。誰だってそうさ。私たちだってあの子、この悲しみを語れはしないよ。だからちゃんと分かってたんだよ。
君たちがまだ小さかった頃、遊ぶことより学ぶことを愛した君を冷やかした子がいたね。その度にムーンブリダが飛んでいって喧嘩をした。私たちがいさめてもウリエンジェはいいやつなんだとむくれるばかりでね。
だったら相手を叩くんじゃなくて、あんたがウリエンジェと周りをつながないとって言ったら、そうかなんて腕組みしてうなってさ。それからは前よりも強引にあんたを連れ出してみたり、考えてることがわかるようにって同じ本を読もうとしたり。当時のあんたにとっちゃいい迷惑だったかもしれないけど、あの子なりにとても頑張っていたんだよ。
そして君は今こうして大勢の中にいる。それどころか絆を結ぶ手助けまでしているね。私たちはそのことがたまらなく嬉しいんだ。
ムーンブリダが信じた人は力いっぱい押した背中はその後もちゃんと歩き続けてくれていた。うちの自慢の娘の笑顔を今日はとても近くに感じるよ。 ありがとうウリエンジェ。
はい、私も今やっと思い出せています。あの笑顔は眩しく温かく、悲しいものではなかったことを。
ウリエンジェには大切な方がいらっしゃったのですね。
気になるか？
いいえ、私はただまだ知らないことが多いのだと思い直しただけですわ。
そうだな。生まれた時からここに至って知らないこと、わからないこと、足りないことだらけだ。だからこの星はまだ終わるには早すぎるんだよ。
Man, what the f***? Off! That was so out of nowhere. That's not fair. Even the adults, yeah. I can't even talk about it. I'm trying to say something about it and I just choke up every time. Just as soon as she hugged him. With how long ago that was, he's been blaming himself for that ever since then. And he's never talked about any of this, you know? All this time. Now I get some crying. And I've been fucking saying for so long, someone hug him. And someone finally hugged him. Yeah, all he got was an ass slap from Stola. And it's like he said how, you know, he spent all this time studying poems and all these things written by great writers, and none of them helped him to be able to express how he felt. Like, for someone so verbose to fall silent about something, like, be assured that I am fine. I am. Glad to see them too, after so very long. Gladder still that it was in your company. As difficult as it was to accept their kindness, it would have been far harder had I faced them alone. Oh, and the title was Sage Council. That was what he said whenever we told him. Dude. It just, this is important, okay? Just bear with me, okay? It'll be okay by the time 7.0 comes out.
Thou hast my gratitude for lending courage to the Loperites. Not disposed to the rest on their laurels, several of our guests have elected to accompany my countrymen to their stations. Some few may still come hither seeking counsel, and so I shall remain to aid them as need be. If thou art needed elsewhere, do not let me detain thee. As a matter of fact, I was hoping you might check on Elise. Last I saw, she was struggling to carry an enormous pile of boxes out the west gate. I could go myself, but we both know whose help she's less to scorn. Not to mention that, much to my misfortune, I can think of several other things I should be doing. Until then. All the hugs? Yeah.
Clarissa, what are you doing out here? No, I don't mind if you help with the boxes, but it's far from the most exciting of tasks. Are you sure? I appreciate the assistance. We need to get these to Aporia. Time is short, of course, but they're full of organic specimens and samples, so try not to be too rough with them. Alphino should be waiting for us when we arrive. I'll see you there.
Oh, you're helping with the crates. Wonderful. You can put them there with the others.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, and I'm playing other music right now because this is the part where it has the fucking, like, super hype music playing in the background the whole time. Yeah, my gratitude. How did you come to be involved in this? Well, you see, I suppose I have Thancred to thank as well. Irene told 14-hour streams going through the story. If you're wondering why we were tasked with bringing these boxes to Aporia to begin with, so was I. It turns out this is a base of operations of sorts. Those with final say as to what is included in the ship's manifest can be found here. Father included, I suspect. Hi, Natso. How are you? Yeah, I wanted to be done with the story a lot sooner. But I'm not. That should be everything. Carried out all of that at once. Are you trying to injure yourself? Oh, hush, they're lighter than they look, and not everyone has your delicate arms. I suppose we should let someone know that we finished. Leopoldin is in the courtyard. We can report to him. Why didn't you come along? You should get credit for your assistance at least. Considering where we are, we might even learn something interesting. Yeah, I get credit for carrying one whole crate. God, it never ends, does it? What can I do for you? We brought samples from Charlene Hamlet, series 110. The crates are by the entrance. Ah, thank you. I had expected one of my colleagues, but we are dreadfully short-handed. Just a moment. You are Fortunate's children, are you not? Technically. Alphino and Alize at your service. You well acquainted with father, I take it? Quite. I've been friends with your parents since our days at the studium. I remember when you were yay high, waddling hither and thither. Clearly, it's been quite some time since we met. It's good to see you again, wielding your father's no less. You know our parents when they were young. What were they like? Pray, spare no detail. I should like nothing more than to regale you. Alas, I am meant to be in charge here. Reams of paperwork, one for submission. We can help with that, in exchange for the sort of stories our parents would never willingly divulge, of course. Very well then. There happen to be 3 seats of documents in need of delivery, so how about you take each one? You each take one. English.
Wait, right there.
You will find a foreign representative waiting to collect these near the southernmost structure. I hope I haven't kept her waiting too long. Never mind Alphino and Alize. I'm certain they'll be back soon enough. Are you not one of the Scions of the Seventh Dawn? I thought you were meant to be working on the ether burner.
Yeah, well... Leopoldin's paperwork. I was beginning to worry he had misplaced his quill. I appreciate your help in seeing these documents in my hand at last, at least for another time. Pray keep us between us, but I sincerely hope you succeed. The Exodus is without a doubt the most monumental undertaking in the history of the Forum, and so we must be circumspect in all respects. Risk is a privilege we cannot afford ourselves. At its heart, however, Charlene has ever been a nation of the curious. It would be a tragedy indeed if we were the ones to stymie your pursuit of truth. Quick and efficient. I dare say you have a talent for this work. The twins' papers only need to be delivered to elsewhere in the facility, so they should be returning any moment. Dude, sorry, I cannot read after that other cutscene. Oh, I probably should have turned the background music back on for this, but whatever. We return with not a scrap of paperwork remaining on our persons, you will note. You both have my thanks, and my apologies for sending you on an errand far below your ambitions. Even as a babe, you struggled out of your swaddling clothes and... That is quite enough of that, thank you. It was compromising stories of our parents that we'd asked to hear, to reiterate.
Of course, of course. I've known your father for so long, I must have something. Well, as you know, part of why the Luvier name garners such respect in Charlene is your family's storied history. You two can trace your ancestry directly to those who came aboard Nunkrep's hope, a lineage few can claim. I've never thought much of it myself. It's not as though our forebears founded our nation. They were simply there when it happened. Nevertheless, it has traditionally been a point of pride. This is why Nunkrep's pronouncement, renounce the ways of war and pursue enlightenment through knowledge and reason, has ever been our family's creed. Until your grandfather's time, eh? Archon Louisoix looked not to Nunkrep's word, but his deeds. He asserted, in defiance of his peers, that choosing to save the great and the small from the rising tides was the true mark of our founder's virtue. Perhaps it was his expertise, his knowledge of ancient prophecy and the fall of civilizations that led to him to conclude that to eschew conflict at every turn was to consign mankind to his doom. There will ever be conflict, and calamity will follow. Thus, to ignore the plight of those one might conceivably save is not wisdom, it is indolence. You remember his words well. Indeed, Archon Louisoix lived by that personal creed, and used every means at his disposal to bring succor to those in need, Charlene or no. No one loved and admired your grandfather more than his son. Yet Fortunato could not reconcile Louisoix's deed and the philosophy of their forebears and his peers, a philosophy in which he believed so fervently, yet made a pariah of his father. Fortunato agonized over this contradiction for much of his life. God's father. A son may carry his father's blood, but his choices are his own to bear. Is it not always thus? Gods know Fortunato's a cranky old goat, so I'm sure you butt heads often. I thought he was calling them butt heads. Yet even so, you must know that you are constantly in his thoughts, every moment of every day, and that is not an exaggeration in the slightest. You say that, but he literally disowned them. So... You should have seen him when you were born. Barely recognizable he was, with the kind of dumbfounded grin I'd not seen since he first took a fancy to your mother. He was practically skipping when he told me the news. Take my word for it. He loves you to an embarrassing degree. Oh, I think loved, past tense, is more accurate. But he's also frustratingly single-minded. Once he's decided that a given action is best for him, he will stay the course no matter who or what opposes him. A profoundly annoying habit when you're on the other end of it, as I'm sure you will agree. I'll say. Thank you for your insight. When next we meet our parents, I shall mention that we spoke. Try not to get me into too much trouble now. I need the form on my side. Speaking of which, I'll be getting back to work. I have to make sure the specimens you brought make it to their proper places, or the cranky old goat will have my hide. We can speak again later. Is the seed supposed to help us recover? I think so. Hell, you three. Graha, surely Coco hasn't driven you out of the forge already. For better or for worse, no. However, he has sent me a task that requires more than my single pair of hands, and here you are. Oh my god! I cannot speak anymore. I could use at least one of you, but I won't object to more. Unfortunately, Alice and I have prior commitments, and we have delayed too long as it is. What about you, Clarissa? Can you spare the time? Of course! Raha! Perfect. This shouldn't take long. In the event that our, and I quote, promised heap of adamantite falls right out of the bloody sky and into my lap, Master Coco wishes to be ready to put the proverbial hammer to anvil at a moment's notice. To fabricate these parts, however, he needs the flames in Coco's forge to burn hotter. He sent me to increase the amount of ether being funneled to his furnaces. The flow of fire-expected ether in Labyrinthos is regulated by an elemental reactor south of here, to which I've borrowed the key. This will require 2 people to carry out safely, but I can explain the process when we arrive. This is where we part, then. We'll see you in Charlie and Hamlet once the adamantite arrives, if not before. This way, then.